What happened in the United States is quite clear. When the Soviet Union ended in December 1991, the U.S. looked around, and by U.S. I mean the leaders. This is the politicians, not the general public. But the politicians looked around and said, oh, we run the world now. We're the last ones. No Soviet Union. China, that's poor, rice-growing villages. They didn't even imagine anything about China's development. They looked at the rest of the world. It's us. And they took the mindset, now we run the world. American leaders took it for granted. They could pretty much do what they want. They could decide to expand their militaries if they wanted to. They could overthrow governments if they wanted to. They could go to war, for example, in Iraq if they wanted to. Other countries were saying, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. But the United States wasn't listening. And they went to war. Of course, it was on false pretenses, not just wrong pretenses. We now know it was filled with lies. But they felt the ability to go to war on the basis of lies and that they would make it up in the narrative. That is the mindset that got the U.S. into so much trouble.
Economy is stabilizing at a rate of around 5%. Their voice is saying it's weakening. Why do you think there's this kind of...
Now, China. Where does China fit into this? Well, as the U.S. was boasting about its world leadership and being indispensable, China just kept growing. China's not a threat. Talk to China, come to China, work with China, negotiate with China, have diplomacy. And then the threat isn't there, then the possibility of mutual benefit is there. Protectionism doesn't work to spur innovation and advance. Protectionism makes companies protected behind artificial barriers, but it typically makes them a little bit lazy. They compete in their home market, but then they can't really compete in the international markets. So if the US and Europe put on protectionist barriers, say against electric vehicles, which is what they want to do, yes, the US will have an electric vehicle industry, but who's going to sell electric vehicles all over the world? It's not going to be high-cost American companies, it's going to be China.